cash back you earn on your credit card into your first year automatically with no limit. How's that? Discover.com/yes. So Zach Lowe covers the NBA, I think for ESPN. He's a big popular podcaster and stuff. And he had, in one of his podcasts, one of his articles, he had a note, and Skip and Shannon talked about it a lot this morning, that LeBron is still viewed by over half the NBA's general managers. If you had a winner-take-all game, it's a Game 7, who would you take? Who would you take as the player in a Game 7, a winner-take-all, and LeBron for half the general managers was at least half would be the guy. So I'm going to give you my 10. Who would be my 10 through 1, my 10 guys I would take a Game 7? I would start with Jason Tatum of the Celtics, and the reason I think he's still ascending, he's a little inconsistent sometimes, a little bit with his shooting, but he was the second leading scorer in the fourth quarter in the playoffs this year behind only Kevin Durant. So the thing I like about him, he is never reluctant late in games. He's a very aggressive kid who is always willing to take the shots. I'd put him, this shows you how many good players we have when he's 10. 9 would be Donovan Mitchell, who can play both ends of the floor. You know, the last 2 years in the playoffs, he's the leading scorer, 34 a game. When Mike Conley got hurt and they really relied on Donovan Mitchell's offense, he delivered. Rudy Gobert doesn't score much either. So it's pretty impressive when everybody in the arena knows it's Donovan Mitchell. I thought he had an amazing postseason this year. I put Damian Lillard at 8 because I think he's a better pure shooter than Donovan Mitchell, but he's not as good a defender. He has been great in clutch games. Dame is 4-1 in games 6 or 7 in his career. He is next to Steph Curry, or maybe better than Curry, the best clutch player. Now, he's going to give a lot up on the defensive end. He's small, not much of a defender. So I put Harden at 7, a little bigger athlete. And I also think James, he's in his prime right now. I think James' ability to distribute this year was really impressive. When Kevin Durant got hurt, he got all these young net players and these kind of C-level players involved. I thought it was the first time I was really all in on Harden. I would put Luka 6, and you could go either way. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think Luka's going to take another step this year. He's only 22. So as good as Luka is, I think he's going to be in a little better shape. He's coming off that great 17-1 record in the international competition with Slovenia. And I think he'll be an even better player this year, whereas Harden, I think we've seen the best of James. Number 5, Steph Curry. He gives up a little bit on the defensive end. 6 of the last 9 years, he's been leading three-point shooter. He's been in a ton of big games. I may have him too low at 5. Again, can be a little erratic with the ball in his hands. He's got some turnovers, and he's not much of a defender. Always trust him in a big spot. 4, when he's healthy, Kawhi Leonard. He's such a great get a bucket, get a stop guy. Now, again, we know he's going to be hurt. He's not going to be here most of next year, or at least half of it. But if you look at his career, he has been defined largely by being at his best in big games. And again, he can defend multiple position players. And that matters, by the way, in these situational games. Can you get the stop? And he can. Number 3, and I would not have had him nearly this high before the playoffs. I thought Giannis delivered. He still can't shoot, but he plays. I mean, listen, in transition, he's unstoppable. Within 4 feet, he's unstoppable. And he keeps working at his free throws. And I thought, you know what? I've never thought of him as clutch per se, but he's got such a unique personality. He's totally unbothered by the noise. He just doesn't care. And I love that about him, so I'd put him at 3. I think I'd put LeBron at 2. LeBron is not the defender he used to be, but he is such a Swiss Army knife. You can ask LeBron, like Magic Johnson, I need 25 points, I need 18 assists. LeBron can do anything. He is not the defender he once was. And, would he be around for a game 6 or 7? There are these injuries things now I am thinking about with LeBron. And I would put him just behind Kevin Durant, number 1, who I think is the greatest offensive player in the game. And for the record, Durant doesn't get enough credit for this. He can guard multiple positions and is a very willing defender. Kevin's not strong, so he's not real trunky, so you can push him around a little. But Kevin can really defend, and he doesn't get a lot of credit. Kyrie's awful. Harden's not very good. Kevin Durant can defend. And I think he's the greatest offensive player right now in the game. Mid-range, three, driving the basket. Their argument, I mean, as great as Magic was, he wasn't this is a scorer. As great as LeBron is, I don't think he's as natural as Kevin as a scorer. So I think right now, Game 7, Durant's hard not to take. The only thing, I mean, and what's funny about Kevin, people could say, well, you know, he looked exhausted against Milwaukee. You know, everybody was banged up and hurt. And the truth is, Milwaukee was so dang big, and they kept throwing bodies at Durant. And you were asking him off an ACL or whatever injury he had to play 48 minutes. Guys have a right to get tired. But when you go back and look at Brooklyn losing to Milwaukee, and now we know Milwaukee won the title, what Milwaukee really did to Phoenix and Brooklyn, it was just an army of Portis and Lopez and Giannis and Drew Holiday. They just wore Phoenix and the Brooklyn Nets down. And it's a thing. Like, you get to the postseason, PJ Tucker. It was just you don't think of Bobby Portis as being vital, but when he's the third big I have to face in a row, and Kevin Durant's really the only big they could depend on, it wore him down. So that would be my top 10. Any massive disagreements, Joy?
No, I would move Dame up to above. I would swap Dame and Luka, because Luka he's put up points, but hasn't had a lot of success in the postseason. That's fair.
And Luka's awful on defense, too.
So I would move Dame up.
You'd put Dame 6 and Luka 8.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would do that. And probably right now, I might move Giannis above LeBron right now, just out of respect.
Listen, I think I did this a year ago. I don't think I had Giannis.
Well, I mean, Giannis had questions about what he was capable of doing, and he answered them. So,
something's not true until it is.
Yeah, I mean,
people always do that. Well, Colin, I have a clip from 3 years ago. Well, something's not true until it is. The bottom line is,
you're also allowed to change your mind once you get new information. You are permitted to change your mind when you get new information.
But 4 years ago, you said, listen, I don't believe in UFOs, but if one lands in my yard, I believe in UFOs. I don't believe in ghosts, but if I go home today in my closet and some lady starts talking to me from a spirit, then I believe in ghosts. It's not true until it's true. And Giannis wasn't clutch until he was clutch.
Well, I think the government did tell us there were UFOs. There's just so much going on.
Well, it was a tic-tac. It could have been